I can't believe she came to our company despite being a high school dropout. How can you do your job with such a nonchalant look on your face? On my first day in the new department, I was scolded by Mackenzie, the section chief. My heart, burdened with a strong complex about being a high school dropout, was almost breaking. Then Mackenzie asked me to come to the CEO's office. Since I also had something to discuss with the president, I agreed. However, Mackenzie says something like this. I didn't say I wanted you to come. You just wanted to come to the CEO's office, right? Your status doesn't even allow you to enter, got it? There's no place for a high school dropout here, so go home quickly. With a tone of superiority, Mackenzie said this. I sighed heavily and replied like this. But that's my seat, isn't it? My name is Caitlin. I'm turning 32 this year, but I'm not married. It's because I find my work very enjoyable. It's not that I don't want to get married, but it's become less of a priority. Fortunately, I don't have any relatives pressuring me to marry early. In fact, everyone has been supportive of me. Thanks to that, I've been able to work freely. The reason I live for my work is because of my parents. When I was just 3 years old, my father passed away. It was a sudden traffic accident. My mother, who had been a homemaker, suddenly had to start working. I've always watched my mother work from early morning until late at night, all day long.
Caitlin, I'm sorry for making you feel lonely. Your life is yours, so don't hesitate to live it without worrying about me, dear. Consult me about anything. I'll always be there to support you.
It was like a mantra. My mother used to say such things. Honestly, there were times when I felt lonely while being home alone. I'm more of a quiet type and didn't have many friends, so I hardly ever played at friends' houses. Still, I think I could persevere until now thanks to the lessons from my mother's close friend. When my mother was away, my mom's friend Monica often came to check on me. I think I was able to grow up healthy because she treated me like her own daughter. Amid such a life, my desire to support my mother grew stronger. To help her, I decided to start working right after graduating from middle school. When I told her, she still had an anxious expression on her face. Mom, don't worry, I'll be fine. I do it my way, and I haven't forgotten that. The quiet and shy me from back then was no longer there. I want to become someone who can repay my mother and Monica. That's all there was to it.
Thank you. Let's keep doing our best from now on.
While on the verge of tears, she urged me forward. Actually, at that time, my mother's health was deteriorating. If she had continued handling childcare and household chores all by herself, her health would have suffered. She hid it so as not to worry us. And so I chose a path of living for work without getting married. By the way, I chose a company that I could commute to from home just in case something happened. Since I didn't have any siblings, my mother was my only family. I wanted to spend as much time together as possible. About 4 years had passed since I started working after finishing middle school. I was transferred to the parent company of the company I worked for, but it wasn't a big move involving a relocation. They considered my mother's circumstances because they knew about it. Still, the environment would change drastically. Since the people I work with would be different, the atmosphere would be different too. I need to adapt quickly. With a little nervousness, I embarked on my first day at the new workplace. The person who welcomed me was a woman wearing high heels and glasses. It's not good to judge by appearance, but she gave the impression of being capable. She approached me with a smile. Nice to meet you. I've heard about you from the CEO. You're Caitlin, right? You relocated from a subsidiary, didn't you? I'm Mackenzie, a Harvard grad, and your section chief. I'll be your direct superior. Let's work well together from now on. I remember being introduced like that. To be honest, I was quite on edge. She seemed to have had a lot of experiences, almost the opposite of me. But mistakes were not tolerated. The first impression at work was quite important. Moreover, if the person was a section manager, I couldn't afford to make any mistakes. Nice to meet you. I look forward to working with you. It's amazing that you graduated from Harvard University. I may cause you some trouble, but I'll do my best." I sincerely complimented Mackenzie. Since it was our first meeting, there was a bit of social courtesy involved. She probably said it thinking it would make for good conversation. I thought so, but whether she took it seriously or not, she started talking proudly.
Isn't it? It was quite tough, but I think I had some good experiences. Things you can only do in your student days, you know. I experienced all of that. I think I've had a very fulfilling life compared to others."
I see. Feeling overwhelmed by her enthusiasm, I hesitated a bit. But it's true that she's impressive, so it's good to compliment her.
"So, Caitlin, where did you graduate from university? Was it Harvard? Oh, but you're from the West Coast, right? Then, was it Stanford?"
If you don't have the desire to go to East, you go to university as close as possible, right? Mackenzie shifted the topic to me. I answered honestly and straightforwardly. No, I didn't go to a university. I started working at this company after graduating from middle school. When I said that, Mackenzie screamed. Hearing that, the employees around us also started paying attention to us.
"You came to our company after finishing middle school? I can't believe it. This shouldn't happen. I'll go talk to the CEO for a moment."
Saying so, Mackenzie then left. Her action made me suddenly anxious about my future life. Being a high school dropout was a considerable complex for me. Being able to work just like everyone else now is because of what I've built up over time. Still, there were whispers about being a middle school dropout when I first joined. But I worked hard and caught up with my peers. Mackenzie's use of strong words triggered memories of when I first joined the company. I wondered if Mackenzie had talked to the CEO, and with a smirk, she returned.
"So, you really are a middle school dropout." I couldn't believe it, so I went to confirm with the CEO. "Are you living with your parents now?"
Yes. My voice trembled with agitation.
"You're not living alone? Being a middle school dropout and still relying on your parents, how much trouble will you cause before you're satisfied? Your poor mother. Is it okay to have such a person around? Or rather, I have to work with you from now on. It's the biggest disgrace of my life."
Everything went dark before my eyes. It's not often that someone gets spoken to like this on their first day of work. At that moment, the CEO called out, "Is Mackenzie there?"
"I have something to give her."
The CEO had a white handkerchief. It seems Mackenzie dropped it earlier. She came over to deliver it. Unlike before, Mackenzie entered with a more subdued demeanor.
"Thank you, CEO. I was just talking to Caitlin. She seems really nice. I'm looking forward to working with her."
I felt a wave of fear at the stark contrast from earlier. She had just said that working together would be the biggest disgrace of her life. The CEO, seemingly unaware of those words, smiled and said,
"Good, that's good to hear. Caitlin, remember, you can always come to me if you need anything."
Saying so, she left. Mackenzie returned to work, glaring at me intensely. Do I really have to work in this kind of environment? It was quite a disheartening event. With that, I finished my first day of work at the parent company. Feeling more tired than I expected, I collapsed in exhaustion as soon as I got home. My startled mother rushed over in concern.
"Hey, Caitlin, what's wrong?"
I've always been quite resilient physically. I've hardly ever caught a cold, and I don't have any chronic illnesses. I've never felt so exhausted before. So my mother must have been especially worried. I wasn't able to reassure her that I'm fine. Sensing something wrong, my mother picked up her smartphone. Seeing it, I snapped back to reality. And no need to call an ambulance. I'm okay, sorry for worrying you. As I spoke, my mother sighed in relief and patted my shoulder.
"What happened exactly? You've never been this tired before, Caitlin." Is it because of work? The company changed today, didn't it?
No, really, I'm fine. I might have just tired myself out in an unfamiliar environment. I'll go rest for a bit. Forcing a smile, I returned to my room. I couldn't tell my mother that I had been ridiculed for being a middle school dropout. And so I started working at the parent company with a heavy heart. Fortunately, I didn't have to see Mackenzie every day. Being a section chief, she was quite busy herself. And when she did come by, I made sure to avoid eye contact as much as possible. One day, something happened. A joint project with a subsidiary was launched. Our parent company runs a large supermarket chain, while the subsidiary manufactures cosmetics for women. The project was to hold an event to sell those cosmetics. We would plan it at the parent company and collaborate with employees from the subsidiary to execute it. We need to decide carefully to ensure strong support. And since it reflects on the parent company's reputation, failure was not an option. It was Mackenzie's job as the section chief to oversee the project. She had a good relationship with the higher-ups, so her reputation was excellent. So she was entrusted with the entire plan this time. Maintaining a proper distance, I proceeded with the discussions.
We've secured the venue and finalized the plan. Let's all work hard,
Mackenzie said with an outward smile. The other employees were also quite enthusiastic. And the preparations were going smoothly, with Mackenzie's final check also completed without any issues. In the blink of an eye, it was the day before the event. I headed to the event venue to confirm the flow of the day.
Thank you for your assistance. We'll be counting on you tomorrow,
Mackenzie said as she approached the front desk. However, the staff looked puzzled. I wonder if something happened. After a while of talking at the front desk and looking dejected, Mackenzie returned.
It seems like the reservation for the event venue wasn't made. We're currently trying to negotiate, but it doesn't look promising. If we can't secure this location, the entire project will be cancelled.
Everyone present was stunned by Mackenzie's words. Why is she so indifferent? After all, it was Mackenzie herself who made the reservation for the facility. In the end, we couldn't secure the event venue, and the plan ended in failure. This angered the subsidiary as well. There are probably employees who adjusted the production line and even worked overtime in preparation for this day. The anger was directed towards us, and understandably so, since the plan was ruined by one mistake. Later, Mackenzie was summoned to the president's office. Presumably, she will discuss the failure of this project. I continued with my work as usual.
Caitlin, tomorrow I'm going to talk to the president about this matter. Could you come with me?
I felt suspicious when Mackenzie asked me this. Huh? Wasn't it just you, Mackenzie, who was called?
Yes, but you've been contributing to the project, haven't you? So I want you to talk about it.
She said it more gently than usual, which made me slightly uneasy. Although the mistake was made by Mackenzie, it's still a shared responsibility. Double-checking could have prevented this. Got it, I'll come along too.
That's a relief. When you come to the office tomorrow, let's meet in the CEO's office right away.
So I ended up going to the CEO's office as well. I had something I wanted to report to the CEO anyway. And the next day, as soon as I arrived at the office, I headed to the CEO's office and found Mackenzie sitting in the CEO's seat. Good morning. The CEO isn't here yet, huh?
Why are you here?
I was surprised by the nonsensical question. You told me to come, didn't you, yesterday? You asked me to come along because you wanted to talk about the project.
I didn't say anything like that. You just wanted to come to the CEO's office, didn't you? With your position, you're not even allowed to enter,
Mackenzie said loudly enough for everyone to hear.
The truth is, the CEO mentioned wanting to talk to me about something separate from this incident. It's probably about a promotion, no doubt. So I thought I'd get used to it now while I have the chance, since why I'm sitting here. Is there something wrong? There's no seat for a middle school dropout, so leave quickly.
Mackenzie said, looking down on others with a sense of superiority. It seemed she didn't know anything. I took a deep breath and spoke clearly. Can you please move quickly? That's my seat, you know.
Huh?
Mackenzie's expression froze for a moment. Then she laughed as if mocking.
What nonsense are you talking about? Someone like you, Caitlin, with your educational background, sitting in the CEO's seat? That's something even in dreams wouldn't happen. Come up with a better lie.
At that moment, someone approached us.
I heard a loud noise. What's going on? What are you all doing?
When I turned around, I saw the CEO standing there with a stern expression. Mackenzie hurriedly got up from the CEO's seat.
Good morning, CEO.
The CEO looked at Mackenzie with a puzzled expression, and then began to speak quietly.
Well, it's all right. I'm a bit late myself. So if you don't mind, could you explain what happened at the event? Because not being able to reserve the venue has caused quite a financial loss.
The CEO's tone seemed stronger than usual, and rightly so, considering it was quite a major failure. As the project leader, Mackenzie began to say something outrageous.
Actually, I had entrusted Caitlin with only the venue reservation. You see, I handled everything else, didn't I? Caitlin kindly offered to help when she saw I was overwhelmed. She's really kind, isn't she?
One after another, nonsense poured out of Mackenzie's mouth.
Since she always works hard, I thought it would be fine to ask her. But then I made such a mistake. Caitlin handled the paperwork. It's because I didn't oversee everything properly. I'm sorry.
Caitlin, is what Mackenzie's saying true?
The CEO turned to me and asked. At that moment, I saw Mackenzie smirk. Perhaps the reason she called me to the CEO's office was for this. I fell silent, unsure of how to respond.
If there's any punishment, I'll take it too. I believe I'm also responsible for my subordinates' mistakes, so please, tell me anything.
Mackenzie was now trying to elevate herself even at this point. I was shaken, my mind blank.
So, Caitlin, you have something to report to me, right?
I was startled by the CEO's words. That's right, that was the purpose of my visit here in the first place. We were able to secure the venue for next weekend. It's considerably larger than the original plan, and we can expect more attendees. It's also reasonably close, so transporting the products shouldn't be too much trouble.
Oh, I see, thank you. Then I'll inform everyone that the event will proceed as scheduled next weekend.
Huh? What are you talking about?
Caitlin covered for this mistake. She somehow managed to persuade and secure a reservation at another venue. So although it's delayed by a week, the event will proceed as planned.
Mackenzie's mouth was left agape.
How could Caitlin manage something like that? It's absurd. A middle school dropout like her shouldn't have such authority as a full-time employee.
What are you saying? Caitlin is the next CEO.
Are you serious?
I showed Mackenzie my business card right in front of her. It had the title of CEO written on it. In fact, the president of the parent company was Monica. Monica has been a close friend of my mother's since long ago, and she used to take care of me when I was little. I remember her coming over to our house and playing with me when my mother wasn't at home due to work. Monica was always dedicated to her work and remained unmarried. Our situations were somewhat similar. When she heard that I had found a job instead of going to middle school, she asked me if I could come to her company.
That's not fair. Isn't this nepotism? It's too unfair.
Upon hearing the situation, Mackenzie erupted into hysterical shouts. The CEO calmly countered, saying,
I didn't want Caitlin to be accused of that, so I asked her to prove herself at the subsidiary first. She was praised by the higher-ups as a diligent and wonderful person. They respected her hard work and dedication. Based on that, I invited her back to the parent company. Even without family ties, Caitlin is more capable than you, Mackenzie.
Mackenzie's face turned paler by the moment.
It seems like you were trying to blame Caitlin, but it's clear that you, Mackenzie, were the one who made the reservation for the facility. Lying isn't good, I think.
That's not it, CEO. While that may be true, everyone makes mistakes, don't they? It just happened to be me this time, but Caitlin could make mistakes too.
I'm talking about the current situation. In fact, Caitlin saved you from the mistake you caused. Do you understand that?
So, you said you wanted to talk about something separate from this issue, CEO.
I just wanted to say that Caitlin followed up. I never thought you would lie.
Mackenzie fell silent, completely defeated. Do you have anything to say about trying to pin the blame on me for ruining the event venue reservation due to your mistake? I said to Mackenzie, who was hanging her head. She remained silent, eyes cast downwards, without uttering a word. I sighed heavily. Where did all the momentum from earlier go? This isn't going to solve anything as it stands. I'll report your response later. Please leave here as soon as possible.
CEO! Please spare me from being fired. My educational background is very important to me. It's been my pride all along. If word gets out that I've been forced to quit the company, it'll ruin my life. That's just not acceptable.
I'm no longer the CEO. Caitlin is.
Mackenzie, please leave now. With a sense of resignation, Mackenzie left the CEO's office with heavy steps. To cut to the chase, Mackenzie was fired. Apparently, she had been judging people based on their educational background even before I came to the parent company. Mackenzie's husband, Kent, came to the company later to apologize.
I'm truly sorry for this incident. I'm discussing divorce proceedings with Mackenzie. Due to her personality of only judging people based on their educational background, she's always caused trouble, and I had to apologize. I couldn't bear it anymore, so I decided to break up with her. I'm sorry for bringing this up.
Kent lowered his head even deeper. It hurts a little to think about the struggles he must have gone through. After losing both her job and her family, Mackenzie apparently returned to her parents' house. It seems she was told to reflect while living in an environment with nothing and was left to fend for herself in the wilderness. I hope she gets the support she needs. On the other hand, the event we redid was a great success. Many customers came, and we were able to make a significant profit. It might sound strange, but the trouble might have been a blessing in disguise. I think it gave me quite a bit of confidence. Come to think of it, I haven't had a chance to talk to my mother properly since I transferred to the parent company. Now that the project is over and things have settled down, I plan to take some time off and go on a trip.